Hello everyone, Mike here with you guys once again, and this is my, I am now here in Planet Georgia, in my new room, and I'll give you guys a look at it real quick. Just a basic one, I'm not going to go into real much detail right now because I want to discuss something here. And I also hope you enjoyed that little PT parody that I posted previously. Just couldn't help myself when I saw the hallway, I was like, okay, I gotta do it. Anyway, I wanted to discuss difficulty because everyone's talking about it, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on it because I have a take on difficulty that a lot of people find controversial, and it shouldn't be, but I do, but it is, and it's a bit more nuanced too, and it might surprise some people because it's not one side or the other; it's a bit of both in a way. But here's my take on game difficulty itself. I hate it. I play everything on the easiest setting, and I don't like getting stressed. It's stressful. It's exhausting. I want to just relax and experience things. I don't play for skill. I don't play for cred. I don't play for achievements or trophies. I play pretend because I want to be a part of either a movie or or if it's VR, a virtual world or another world. It's the whole point. For me, video games are about playing pretend, not about playing a sport. So yes, I steer clear of difficult games, and I play everything on easy. And if I die, and if it's too hard for me on easy, I have a problem with that because easy means it should mean easy. It shouldn't. I should not struggle on the easiest setting. And I also believe that when it comes to story-driven experiences, where the narrative is the point, where it's not about scores, it's not about skill, it's simply about purely interactive narrative. That should not be behind fail states. You should not be blocked from a story or having to repeat a chapter over and over because of fail states. When it comes to narrative, that should never be a reward for skill. Can you imagine if you had to, if you were watching a movie or a TV show or reading a book, because of your lack of skills, you had to repeat the same thing and you cannot progress through the story. It breaks the narrative, takes you out of it. Or if you have to look something up online because the puzzle's too confusing. There you go, breaking the immersion, breaking the narrative. And it's worse in VR because you have to take the headset off to look things up. Okay. So yes, I hate difficulty. Having said that, do I think that every game should cater to me and my needs? No. As much as I complain about From Software being successful and wish that they were a fringe niche thing because their success is going to affect games going forward in a way that I won't personally like, despite all that, they deserve their spot at the table, and people who like difficulty and challenge should have that as an option to them. Not every game should be for me. Not every game should be for you. Not every game should be for everyone. When you try to make all games for everyone, I think that's why we're having a lot of stale, boring game design lately. Because it's trying to be, because when you please everyone, you do a mediocre job most of the time. So how do we have real diversity in games in terms of barrier of entry? You make different types of games for different types of people. Elden Ring, Souls games, not for me. But Horizon is for me. Kirby is for me. So I have options. I have things I can play. Yes, gaming is for everyone, but not every game is for every person. You see what I'm saying? We accept that when it comes to game ratings and age, but when it comes to difficulty or different types of audiences that are looking for different types of experiences, we tend to gatekeep and want everyone to play the types of games that we do or have access to it. We either want everything to have an easy mode, or we shame people for daring to play on easy and treat them as less than a gaming fan. If you're like me and you love easy games, you are a video game person. You belong in this community. If you're somebody who likes a challenge, you belong in this community too. But when you shame others because they want a different experience than you, or you demand that other games cater to you when you weren't their target audience, that's the problem, and that's the gatekeeping. And I see it happening from both sides. And yes, I am both siding this because I see it from both sides. You have the get good elites on one side, and on the other side, you have gaming journalists that confuse accessibility with difficulty when they're not the same thing. Not even close. I've seen too many videos of people with disabilities playing better at at hard games than I ever will, and I give them mad props for that. And there are accessibility features that can help lower the barrier of entry so that people with disabilities can have that challenging experience if they want that. But don't conflate that with difficulty. They're not the same thing. I had another point I was going to make, and I forgot it already, which I hate because it was a good point. I'll give an analogy. When it comes to inclusion and being against gatekeeping, if you are a redneck, if you are a country music fan, you should be welcomed at the castle. If you show up in a pair of Wranglers and a cowboy hat, provided it's not some sort of dress code fetish night, and even then you probably should be able to get in because there's, the whole cowboy fetish thing is the thing, I think, for some people. Either way, if you're a country music fan, you wear Wranglers and a cowboy hat, you should be welcomed at the castle. Nobody should say, get out because you are not industrial. That being said, don't expect us to play country for you. Okay? It is an industrial club, the castle in Ybor City in Tampa. That's what I'm referencing here. But do you see my analogy? Do you see what I'm trying to say? We're not gatekeeping by playing what we love. Gatekeeping is when you shame others who have an interest in stepping into your world and wanting to experience what you have to offer. Or what we should be accepting people like that because that helps us grow. But what we shouldn't do is change who we are for them. In terms of our interests and what we play. If you come to the castle, it doesn't matter what musical interest you love or what culture you're from, you should be welcomed with open arms at the Industrial Club. But we are not changing the music for you. We play what we like, you're welcome to it. If not, go find someplace else. But you're not going to change us, and we in turn, we should welcome you and to say, here is what industrial music has to offer. This is my analogy, and we need to apply this when it comes to video games. We should be welcoming to all types of players, but instead of making boring game designed to please everyone, let's make different types of games for different types of players, so that we can all go to GameStop or the local video game store and each get the game that we want and be happy. And then share our love of gaming with everybody. That's how it should be. So even though difficulty is not for me, I will not play Elden Ring. I'm not going to spend $70 on a game that I will die at multiple times because I hate that experience. But I am more than willing, despite the fact that I might complain about From Software and stuff, I might gripe and complain, it's all in good fun. At the end of the day, From Software deserves the success that they have, and they deserve to have their audience and to cater to that audience. And I am not their audience, and I'm okay with that, despite my complaints, even my griping and complaining. It's just me being, being immature, I know, and being, it's like, oh, I don't want them to influence the industry. But despite that, in all seriousness, their games are not for me, and that's fine. Because there are games that I can play that are for me. And that's the attitude that we need to adopt as gamers and video game fans. Okay? That's all I got to say on that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a future video. Bye.